Imagine yourself by a quiet hearth in an old stone cottage, fire crackling softly, casting warm shadows on the walls. The air holds a faint scent of lavender and aged wood, while outside, soft rain patters against the window panes. This is a place of rest, where thoughts wander freely. Today we embark on a gentle tale of Elias, a boy from a medieval English village around 1350, who grew up too fast, not by force, but through life's quiet currents. In a world recovering from the plague, life in Elias's village moved slowly, tied to the earth's rhythms. Villagers plowed fields at dawn, gathered herbs from woodland edges, and shared stories by communal fires at dusk. Children learned by watching, not books, apprenticing in crafts like thatching or beekeeping. Forgotten customs lingered, tying ribbons to oaks for luck or whispering blessings over bread before breaking it. Elias, born to a family of weavers, was no different at first, running barefoot through meadows, chasing butterflies. But at 8, his father's illness changed everything. A kind man with calloused hands, his father grew frail, his breath fading like winter light. The village healer, herbs bundled in her apron, murmured of spirits taking what they will, blending medicine with folklore. Elias stepped into roles meant for older shoulders, carding wool by lamplight, his small fingers aching but persistent. His mother hummed lullabies to keep silence at bay. Psychology calls this parentification, a child becoming caregiver, a seed planted too deep, stretching far for sunlight. Stoic Epictetus would nod, teaching we control only our responses, not events. By 10, Elias's world expanded subtly. He bartered at market fairs, where merchants brought spices like cinnamon, hints of distant lands. Custom-dictated children observed silently, learning patience, but Elias spoke up, negotiating for better wool. Villagers called him an old soul, a phrase rooted in beliefs of spirits returning wiser. Pausing in Elias's evenings, psychology reveals hidden variables. Attachment styles shift under strain, anxious bonds form, anticipating loss, like a tree leaning against constant wind. Jung's wise child archetype bubbles up, emerging when innocence meets wisdom early, a spring in a forgotten glade. Village life offered small solaces. Mornings began with milking cows, their breath steaming in cool air, grounding the soul, a forgotten custom, leaving milk saucers for fairies to invite benevolence. Elias, often lost in thought, pondered why some burdens felt heavier, his hands absent-mindedly performing tasks. Aristotle's eudaimonia, flourishing through virtue, guided Elias, though his playful spirit waned under duty. Wandering woods for firewood, he met a hermit in a thatched hut, surrounded by salvaged books. Speaking of Plato's cave, where shadows masquerade as reality, the hermit planted seeds of introspection in Elias's young mind. Resilience, a hidden psyche variable, grew like medieval monks meditating on impermanence in chapels with faded frescoes. By 12, Elias managed the family loom alone, his hands deft, calluses like silent badges. He watched maypole dances from the edges, joy fleeting as emotions stayed suppressed, Freud's and ego wrestling in the mind's shadows. Seneca's stoic wisdom, urging acceptance, soothed Elias as he kneaded bread with his mother, sprinkled with caraway for protection, a custom blending pagan and Christian roots. Yet joining peers by the stream, his laughter felt borrowed, his mind anchored to duties, a mark of lost childhood or adultification. In medieval villages, Fool's Days let children command elders in playful mockery, restoring balance. Elias's inner world held cognitive dissonance, a clash between who he was and who he might have been. Kierkegaard's anxiety, the dizziness of freedom, tugged at him as he questioned his hastened path. Daily routines anchored him, planting rosemary for remembrance, a nod to ancient Greek customs, or tying knots in string for wishes. Each a quiet prayer. Elias knotted one for his father's health, though long gone, learning grief's slow thaw. Bowlby's attachment theory, born from observing war orphans, shows how early roles fray trust in the world. At 15, a merchant offered Elias an apprenticeship in a distant town. Fear of abandonment, a hidden variable, made the choice heavy. Yet Sartre's existential freedom pushed him forward. In town, markets buzzed with silks and scholars debating Aquinas. blending faith and reason, while Elias learned to dye fabrics, colors blooming like suppressed emotions. Daily routines, stirring indigo vats, baking pies, became meditative. Guided by Lao Tzu's Tao, flowing like water, Elias wrote letters home, bridging past and present. Resilience theory notes adversity builds grit, echoed in medieval mindfulness practices from monasteries, as Elias found peace in small acts. Returning home, Elias saw his village anew. Huts, smaller paths, familiar yet changed. His mother, frail but proud, called him her rock, evoking role reversal's weight. Village customs, like harvest festivals with bonfires, rekindled community, while Elias journaled on parchment, inspired by the hermit's teachings. Elias married Anna, the miller's daughter, in a simple chapel ceremony, with wildflower garlands. Their life together wove new patterns, children born, cycles renewing. Psychology's family systems theory highlights breaking transgenerational patterns through awareness, as Elias shared slow bedtime tales with his offspring. As an elder, Elias mentored youth, finding wholeness in Jung's individuation, uniting his shadows. Retreating to the hermit's hut, he sipped mind-soothing teas from medieval herbals, reflecting on haste as a forge for his soul. Spinoza's conatus, striving to persevere, guided him, as did gratitude rituals, like feeding birds. In twilight years, Elias found peace in sunsets and wind, embracing Buddhist impermanence, letting go like leaves. For those who grew up too fast, his tale offers wisdom. Transform burdens through philosophy's lens and psychology's map. Practice mindfulness walks. Journal reflectively. View hardships as teachers. Stoic style. As the hearth's embers fade, let Elias's story settle like a soft blanket. If you've grown too fast, you're not alone. Many have walked this path, finding strength in quiet. Through philosophy and psychology, hardships become stepping stones. Breathe deeply, feel the weight lift, and rest in life's gentle embrace. Endure obstacles with compassion, creating meaning as existentialists urge. Elias's wisdom, haste shapes but doesn't define, guides us to integrate the hurried child with the adult self, finding wholeness in the slow, persistent flow of life.